Good morning and happy Monday. So we're doing things a little differently this week. We're starting off with a video just to kind of see what happens. And I thought I would show you guys since you're going to get to see me next week. This is Mrs. Short before caffeine. Ah! And this is Mrs. Short after caffeine. So depending on when you have me, hopefully I've had my caffeine. So our learning target this week goes along with what we've been learning about, which are expressions and equations. And we're going to talk about a lot of the same things, but this time we're focusing on formulas. And this is something that you guys are really going to use next year when you take geometry. All right, so rearranging formulas, that is just like solving equations, basically. We must use inverse operations. But as a review, can you tell me, what does inverse mean? Inverse means opposite. Yes, that is correct. So when I'm adding, the inverse would be subtraction and vice versa. When I'm multiplying, the inverse would be dividing and vice versa. Okay, so we're going to start with a familiar formula, and that's the volume of a rectangular prism. And so that's something that you probably saw right around 6th grade math. So to calculate the volume, we use volume equals LWH, which stands for volume equals length times width times height. If multiplication is the operation being used, what operation do you think we'll use to solve for a different variable? Like if we were trying to find the length, the width, or the height, instead of actually finding the volume. Yes, we're going to use division. Absolutely, because multiplication is the only thing there. So divisions are only opposite because it is the inverse. So just using H as an example, to solve for H, we must divide both sides by the L and the W. So we would divide LW here, divide LW here. These would cancel, and we would be left with H equals volume divided by the length times the width. So to find the height, we would take the volume of the box, our rectangular prism, and divide it by the product of the length and the width. Okay, so here's another example. We have something very basic that you've probably seen for many, many years, and this is area of a rectangle. And so area equals length times width. To solve for width, we must divide both sides by the length. Okay, so it's similar to the volume. It's actually easier because there's less variables. And so when I divide by L, that L is going to cancel, and the width, the W left by itself, is going to be equal to area divided by length. Since these problems only have multiplication, we use its inverse of division to rearrange the formulas.